Bren Foster.
G'day,
Welcome.
Nick. How you going?
Thank you for letting us in your space. It's a pleasure. And what I spoke to you beforehand around, I actually did martial arts here. Well, not this specific one, but when I was about 12, I did 1 year here. And it's crazy how full circle moment I'm back in your gym, and we're doing a podcast. So I really appreciate it.
My pleasure, mate.
And it's crazy to think that, because you started martial arts when you were 6, correct?
Started when I was 6, yeah. My
Six.
mum started me.
Do you know why she enrolled you? Like, did you have a background in?
No. Look, all the kids in the neighbourhood were training, and I was actually 5, and
Okay.
I wasn't allowed to go yet because you had to be 6. So the minute I turned 6, bang, I was there, and I just took to it like a fish to water, I guess. The instructor there, he nicknamed me the thrashing machine, and I
Okay.
never knew why. And then I used to go home to my mum and say, "Mum, he keeps calling me this," and I didn't know how to take it. So one day she asked him, and it says, because every time he kicks or punches, he finishes before everyone else. So it was a compliment, but I didn't know it at the time.
Did you grow up in Western Sydney?
Yeah, I did. We grew up here, and that's why I chose to come back and live in Western Sydney after living in Los Angeles for 11 years. I did come back for visits and whatnot. My family were here, but we're back here as a family. I like it out here.
Yeah.
I think it gets a very unfair rap. There's a lot of beautiful people, amazing families. There's people who are doing really well in life, in terms of families, in terms of financially. But for some reason, there seems to be a stigma about Western Sydney that I don't agree with at all.
No, I grew up in Plumpton.
Great place.
So now I'm Penrith, and yes, obviously there's bad places everywhere, right?
Everywhere, mate. Everywhere.
There's good,
Yeah.
there's bad people, but at the end of the day, we're all humans and we're all trying to get the best out of life. And I think what I love about the West is the community and the culture. We all get behind each other.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely, mate. Yeah.
And I think even in your movie, because I said I watched it last night, even at the end, right, where everyone was coming together, I think that just summed up not only what you've created here with Elite, but Western Sydney in itself. And I think it's beautiful.
I'm glad you recognise that, mate, because that's exactly what it is. It's the sense of community that we have out here. It's that Australian culture where we're there for each other, that, when your mate's down, you give him a hand up, and how families come together. And, when we grew up, we used to, all the neighbours, they used to come in the street. We used to have these little block parties, barbecues. We'd all come together. I think slowly we're losing that a little bit, but here in Western Sydney, and particularly this place, Elite, we still have that family feel that environment where all families come together. They hang out together socially, they train together, they're going to tournaments together. So there's a real family kind of connective environment that we've been able to create here.
Does it feel surreal sometimes that, you started when you're 6 and now you've created, I guess, this empire?
Yeah, it does. And look, I'm super, super grateful for what it's turned into. When you're a kid, you just, there was a profound love for the martial arts, and being able to, have that as a staple, as a solid part of my life that I've been able to give to my children, to my son, to everyone around me, and even yourself. You spent a year with us, you know. So there's just so many people that we've been able to help and impact and train, and in a very positive way. I mean, I'll walk down to the shop sometimes, and a young man like yourself will come up to me, and I don't remember him because I remember him as a kid.
Yeah.
But he remembers us and the time that he spent here. And a lot of the times he'll say, "I'm this person," and I think back, and a lot of the times I remember them as a kid, and I'm like, "Oh my God, dude," because that's the image, that's the last image I have of them. And then suddenly they're this, 6'2" monster saying, "Hi, how you going, sir?"
Yeah.
So it's those moments are really good. I really like that, because it just tells me and that myself and my team, we're doing things right because we leave a lasting impact on the young men, on the young women, on the kids as they grow up. And if they can come back and they have a positive experience and they relay it to us, then it's like, we must be doing something right.
And when it comes to, kids doing martial arts, combat sport, It's more than self-defense. Why do you feel like it's so important for kids to be able to do this?
I honestly, Nick, I think it's priceless, mate. You can't put a price on it. You can't put a value to it. It's invaluable. Martial arts for children should be, in my opinion, compulsory in school. They're worried, oh, it's violent, oh, they're going to fight. No, it will actually have the opposite effect. In places like Korea, Taekwondo is a subject. And they do that in school. It's a university subject and it carries all the way through. So there's a lot of emphasis placed on it. For children to learn martial arts, it's not just the kicking and punching and the physical. It's also the discipline. It's also coming to classes. It's also the short-term learning to set short-term goals with the belts and to progress and to move. It's such a life skill that I think, as I said before, it's invaluable. But I think that one thing that does dishearten me is that, at 8 or 9, you're not really, as a child, in a position, say, to know what's good for you. And sometimes, I don't want to go anymore, I want to quit. And the parents just allow it to happen. I think it should be a parent's duty to make sure that once they start martial arts, that they keep them in it, at least for a good period of time. It doesn't have to be forever, but for a good chunk of time. Keep the kids in it. Just like when a kid says, I don't want to go to school today, the parent says, no, you're going to school. Most parents do anyway, But I think with martial arts, if you come, I think the minimum time spending in the martial arts world would be a year, and you spend a year, so there you go.
I did one competition, actually won that competition.
You did?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I still have that trophy at home, and I was looking at it the other week, I was like, oh, this is cool.
But you remember it, don't you,
Yeah.
Nick? You remember your year, you remember that time when you went into that tournament, and you remember the time you won. And look, and even if you didn't win, a lot of kids will go into tournaments, and as long as they go in there, and they do their best. That's all they have to do. If they go in there and they give everything they've got and they fight with everything that they've got, they come out a winner. They might not know it at the time and they might not be awarded a trophy. But the fact that they've stepped up into a hard situation where they're hitting a wall, where they've got resistance, where someone's going against them, someone's trying to take the win from them, and they're fighting with everything they've got, that in itself is a metaphor for life. Because nothing hits harder than life. You know yourself, mate. You're going through some stuff right now. So when adversity hits and you've got the tenacity and the will to fight, whether it's physically, emotionally, whatever it is, martial arts gives the children, it sets them up with a foundation and a tenacity to be able to fight obstacles in life. And it doesn't matter who you are. They're going to come. They are going to come.
It takes a lot of courage to step in a tournament or in the ring.
Absolutely.
Even when I was, because I had my first fight this year at 28.
Yeah, your boxing one, right?
Yeah, and I was shitting myself.
But you still did it, Nick.
I did.
Now, let me tell you something. 90% of people, when they get that feeling, they turn and they run.
Yep.
What makes the other 10% decide, you know what? Because you all feel the same. It's like the hero and the coward. They both feel the same, but it's what the hero does that makes him a hero, and it's what the coward does that makes him a coward. Yep. So one way of looking at it, you and another person, you both feel the same. But when it comes down to it, you step into the ring. The other person chooses not to.
Yep.
That's rare. It is. I'm sorry, but it's rare.
It was the best experience, and that's why I'm going round 2. You get the itch for it.
Good on you, mate. Go for it.
So that's in, I think, 6 or 7 weeks.
Awesome.
So I'm super pumped for that. But yeah, I'm going to be enrolling my daughter into jiu-jitsu as well. So she turns 4 soon. So I want to enroll her into that. For the aspect of not so much self-defense, yes, that's a part of it, the discipline and the respect and all those values that she's going to gain from doing martial arts.
Mate. Well, you know what? Bring your daughter here, Nick. Mate,
Yeah.
I know you're not too far, but we've got a killer Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu program. I know a lot of people know me for Taekwondo, but I've been doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu since 2020 before a lot of people even started. Our kids, we've got a number of national champions. My daughter is an absolute beast. I think this year we got 3 national champions.
I've seen the videos.
Yeah. So our kids' jiu-jitsu is through the roof. We have a really, really good bunch and a ton of kids in our Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and they're absolutely monsters. There's been times where we've been to grappling industries and we've been the number 1 club. So we've got our combat taekwondo. I say combat taekwondo because there's a difference now.
Okay.
And our Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, our Muay Thai. I mean, all our styles are very, very strong here, and we've got a very strong competition presence as well. So you know. But as I said, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, good combat style Taekwondo, Muay Thai, it's fantastic. For smaller children, I do heavily recommend the combat Taekwondo and the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Muay Thai, I think we don't start that until they're teens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit brutal. I went to Thailand this year and trained.
You did?
At Tiger Muay Thai.
Awesome.
For a couple of sessions.
Awesome.
That was a good experience.
Yeah, nice, man. Nice.
And you've traveled all over the world.
Yeah.
What's been some of your, I guess, top places that you've been able to visit and what you've learned from that?
Wow, I think, look, I spent some time in Korea. I lived there at the Korean Sports and Science University, and that was a bit of everything, a bit of a culture shock. I went there and I was training for Taekwondo. I finished year 12 and I went to the university. So everyone was older than me. They were all in their early 20s and whatnot. But at the Sports and Science University there, they have judo, they have wrestling, they have Taekwondo, they have kids. So all the combat sports, they're all there. And these guys and girls, they're just training like 7 hours a day. And I was quite young, as I said, and all of the people in the classes were a bit older, but the level of training and the intensity was fantastic. I remember the first day I got there, and there's a sparring session from 3 o'clock till 5 o'clock that goes for 2 hours. And I came across a girl, and I was like, oh, okay. And, you know, back in Australia, we just always took it easy. But she just goes, wow, first kick. And it was winter and it was snowing, so we were all wearing Taekwondo shoes. And she kicks me right in the eye. Oh. And I'm like, whoa. And then I kind of went, you know, just backed up a bit. And then she just chased and kept kicking. And then I just held on and I was like, whoa. And then I quickly realized that even the girls there, you had to fight them. Otherwise, you know, they'd get you. But yeah, you know, the experience was good in Korea. It was also hard. I had made a couple of really good friends, but that was among the wrestlers,
yep.
You know, and a guy from the Hapkido part. With a couple of the Taekwondo guys in there was a bit of animosity because I was the white guy, and they didn't like it too much that I was able to kind of, you know, give and take just as well as them.
Yeah.
And I remember there was one guy, we made friends and we were sparring, and I landed a nice kick to the head, and he never spoke to me again. He never even looked at me again. You know what I mean? But look, I probably made about 3 or 4 friends over there in Korea. And we kept in touch for about 10 years, but it slowly faded out. But yeah, look, it was a wonderful experience. They're wonderful people. They're outside of a little bit of animosity with a few of the guys in the sparring group there. They were just so welcoming and so kind, and you know, I loved going out with the wrestling guys and, you know, getting some food, and they'd get these little skewer things, and they
yep.
were like chicken giblets. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, okay.
And I'd eat them. You know, that's all right because meat, there wasn't much meat there, but that was great. Korea was great. The people were fantastic. Hong Kong, I went to Hong Kong, fought in Hong Kong. That was good. I remember I got food poisoning in Hong Kong,
yeah.
really, really bad. Yeah, and that was the highlight of Hong Kong, I guess. Thailand was great. I trained at Fairtex.
Because you had a proper Thai boxing.
Yeah. I fought Chow. And you know what was funny? My nephew, who's like my son, because my sister passed away, and we took her kids in, but I'm very close with my nephew. I definitely like my son, and he's great. He's currently the South Pacific professional Muay Thai champion. He also won amateur world Muay Thai championships, amateur state for K1 and Muay Thai, both New South Wales titles, and currently the South Pacific professional champion. So he went over to Thailand recently and fought, and absolutely dominated his opponent. And then they actually, you watch this on video, it's like, what? And then they gave the fight to the opponent. It's just...
Was that opponent local?
I think so, yeah. You know, but you know, these things happen. But he was training at Fairtex too, Jimmy was, and there was a trainer next to him, you know, one of the trainers at Fairtex. And Jimmy didn't realise until he came back, but it was the guy that I fought in 2-7. So he'd say hello to him every morning, but never actually spoke to him. But that was Chow. He was he was one of the title Pattaya champion, I believe, and he had quite a few fights. And lovely guy, but we threw down pretty hard, and it was good. But I remember the gloves; they were like, there's no padding in them.
Yeah.
You know, they were like just hardly anything. And I remember I forgot my groin guard.
Oh.
So what happened, they ripped off the groin guard from the guy that went before me, and it was all wet.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, and it wasn't the ones you just slide on. It was one that goes up your bottom and, ties up. So I had to wear someone else's sweaty groin guard. But hey, look, you look back, they're all memories, right?
That's it. Yeah. Thai boxing is brutal. We
It
went to
is,
a couple of
yeah.
fights, and even the chicks.
Oh, mate.
There was one chick, she got split open, pissing out blood. They obviously cleaned it up a bit, but then she just kept
came
going.
back out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Weapons.
It's
Total
absolutely
weapons.
brutal. Speaking about weapons, you got a whole family of weapons.
Yeah.
Your kids are just...
Yeah.
What's it like to be able to pass all this down to them and teach them these values and these skills?
As I said, mate, it's priceless. It's also my legacy. Look, we all get a certain amount of time, and every day, every minute, every hour, it's going. You know, we can get another car, you can get another house, you can, get more money if you work hard. You can get more of everything, but time is the one thing that we just can't get more of. We just get what we get, and no one knows when it's going to be taken from us. So I say to my kids, I said, one day, it's just going to be you. And the two things I want you to remember is always do your best in everything you do. And the other one is that I love you. So, and me sharing everything I've got, all the knowledge that I've got, because I had to travel far and wide, and I've trained with some of the most amazing martial artists. It's not just the kicking and the punching. I've been so fortunate to meet so many amazing people and train with them, and the amount of knowledge I actually know sometimes. I have to from whether it's from Filipino martial arts, Silat, Taekwondo, Hapkido, Thai boxing, Kwarang Do, just boxing, just all of it coming to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, of course, wrestling, and just everything coming together. And I realize when I'm trying to teach and share this stuff to my children in particular, there's so much to give. And it doesn't come from a place of I just want you to learn this. It's from a place of love, because all that is very special and dear to me, all the knowledge and the years and time I've spent accumulating and training. And it's also a journey of self-discovery through the hours of mat time and training yourself. You make your own discoveries within the martial arts. So all of that, I then want to pass on, every last bit of it, to my family. And that's a legacy I leave behind. And, for my children, as they grow to adults, they'll realize, look, you can lose everything. You can lose your wife. You can lose a child. You can lose your house. You can lose your car. You can be over there in the corner naked with nothing, but you will still have your martial arts. No one can take that from you, because it's in your mind, it's in your heart, it's in your body. No one can take that from you. So if I give them that is something that will stay with them forever, and then hopefully they can give that to their children. And I guess it's just the importance and the value that I place on the martial arts, because it means the world to me. It's everything to me. It shapes my whole life. And that's something I can give, and then they can give. They can take it, they can expand upon it, they can grow it, they can fine-tune it. God willing, they can improve upon it, be better than I was, and then they can share as well. And the legacy and the family tradition continues. That was a long-winded answer, wasn't it?
No, I love it. And it's great that you're able to pass that down. And what I love about combat and martial arts is from the mental aspect of it. And we were just speaking before around what I've gone through the last 6 months or so. And when that all happened was when I started my training camp for my first fight.
Yeah.
If I didn't have that, I would be in such a worse headspace, because it was a healthy outlet for you to get all your feelings and emotions out there, but also you kept accountable for keeping your training up, getting a couple of hits in the head. You're like, okay, cool, I got to keep your guard up.
Yeah.
I think it's so pivotal to have that, especially in a world
Absolutely.
where a lot of these kids, younger kids, well, everyone is struggling with their mental health, and to have a place where they can come, whether that's boxing, martial arts, whatever it is, and it's a healthy outlet instead of drugs, alcohol, pornography, whatever the case is, it's so necessary.
It's absolutely necessary. I couldn't agree more. And firstly, not everyone can do what you did, Nick. You know, a lot of men crumble. I had a friend a couple of years ago, well, let's just say a couple of years ago, but he called me on my birthday, and I knew he was going through a tough time. And his relationship was breaking down. He lost everything financially, and he was suffering. And boy, did she let him know he had lost everything, and wasn't much of a supporting environment for him. And me and myself, a few other friends from Los Angeles called me and said we need to talk to him. He's not doing too well. So we were talking to him and trying to build him up, trying to get him back into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu because he was quite good. But he called me on my birthday, and he just checked in, and we spoke, and I said, "How's it going? You getting back to training?" He's like, "Yeah." But what I didn't know, he called me to say goodbye, because he got off the phone to me. I think I was the last person he spoke to, and then he went and hung himself. So that's going back to what you said, Nick. I went through a breakup myself, and much the same as you, I threw myself into my work. I was at university at the time, but I would wake up in the morning, train martial arts, go to university, there through the day, come back, teach classes at night. I just kept myself busy. Exhausted myself. So the mental condition and the heartbreak state I was in didn't have time to completely consume me. Now, a lot of men, they allow themselves to be completely consumed because it's heartbreaking. Yeah. You don't wake up to see your kids every morning anymore. The woman you love, whatever reason the relationship is broken down, it's breaking down. If she's at fault, or if he's at fault, or it's just falling apart, whatever the case, it's broken. But that doesn't take away the pain that men feel, and women feel too. But I think men, in those instances, you have to do. It's a responsibility of self-care, and it's a responsibility to still be there for your children. And the best thing you can do is, like you did, get into some kind of combat sport, or even the gym. Get into something physical that's going to exhaust yourself so you can give everything out physically that's going to help your emotional well-being. It's probably the best form of therapy. Rather than paying someone, and because they're going to want you to keep coming back. So sometimes I don't know how healthy that is. And I don't think it's as healthy as, exhausting yourself in the boxing ring, giving yourself a goal, a fight, which you did. You did everything right, Nick. And it just takes the first step. So if every male, even females too, absolutely. But we're talking about dads here. So every dad, if the relationship breaks down, find something. Find something that you can throw yourself physically into 100%, but also with a goal. If it's gym, try and go into a natural bodybuilding competition. I don't know, boxing like you did. You jumped in, you trained your ass off, you jumped into the ring. Fantastic. Martial arts, jiu-jitsu. If you don't want to get hit, do jiu-jitsu. It's grappling. There's tournaments all the time. If you're going through heartache, if you're going through pain, come, train. Say, all right, in 1 year, I want to jump on the mats and compete. Have that goal, stick to it. Those are the things that help men through pain and anguish, because you have a worthy goal, you have a worthy ideal, you have a sense of self-value, which you're putting yourself into. You start to see the transformation physically, mentally, and then with a goal. And then that will even make you a better father. It will help you deal with the adversity and the pain of a breakup. It will help with you put it into perspective and deal with it even better. So it's an absolute must, mate, an absolute must.
Yeah. I said, I could have easily crumbled, but for me, it's like I had no other option. For me, I'm a big believer in leading by example, especially for my daughter, and she needed me to stand up and lead by example, even on those days where I didn't want to get out of bed. But by getting out of bed, doing the things that needed to be done to achieve what I want to achieve, I'm in such a better headspace now. And honestly, I am the fittest that I've ever been in my life. Like I did my fight. I did High Rocks. Have you heard of that?
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
did
new
High
thing. I've
Rocks.
heard it. I just found out about it
Yeah,
this
so
year.
it's like a CrossFit hybrid event. Training for my second. So the way it's panning out is November. I'm fighting my second fight.
Yeah,
2 weeks
yeah.
later, I'm doing a 50K ultra marathon.
My God, that
So
is awesome, mate.
This has been the year of challenges for me.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's been the best thing that I could ever do.
Good on you, mate. That is fantastic for a young man to all those things. And you know what? She's watching, mate.
Oh, shit.
Everything you do, your little girl is watching. When you do that 50K run, she knows Dad did a 50K run. When Dad jumps into the boxing ring, she knows Dad jumped into the boxing ring.
She comes to training with me.
There you go. You're leading by example. That's what fathers need to do. You need to be in strong physical shape. You need to look after yourself because you're also a protector.
Yes.
Okay? And I can't think of anything worse, you know? And I'm sure one day, Nick, you know, you're going to meet someone else, you know, and you'll realize that that was the person you were meant to be with, you know? So, but you know, you can't see that at the moment, but when it happens, you'll be able to look back and join the dots because we can't join them in the present. We can only join them when we're looking back, okay? But it is absolutely a duty of all men to be physically adept and to be able to protect their children and protect their wife if the situation arises.
Yeah, you got to be capable as a man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No excuses.
And coming back to the whole mental health piece, like as men, we need to be moving our bodies in any aspect. Like we can't just sit there and be in our emotions because men don't process shit like that.
No.
We need to move, get out there, do something active, and that's how everything flows for us. And I think I want to ask you this because you've traveled around the world, you've done a lot of teachings in different cultures and traditions. There'd be a big spiritual aspect to a lot of that as well.
There is. You know what? I am very, very spiritual. I'm not religious. I believe in God strongly. But there is a very, very strong spiritual element. Even when I went to Thailand, I mean, look, I'm not Buddhist, but I was more than happy to go to the temple and spend some time there before my fight. And there just seemed to be a calmness, a peacefulness, you know. And when I find that peace and that calm, there's just, you sit back and you have those moments of gratitude, you know, because you know things like what it's like to go through a breakup and what that feels like, that horrible feeling feels like. And then the next thing you know, you can be sitting in Thailand. You're about to go to war in a few hours, but you're sitting in this, you know, at a Buddhist temple in their gardens, and it's beautiful, and you're just completely consumed by peace and tranquility. And when you feel those moments, you've got to be grateful for them. And I was able to achieve that and get to that space because of the training. I've been training hard, like, you know, being in Thailand, doing the training. And then they asked me if I wanted to go there. And I was like, I've done all the physical, I've done all the hard stuff now. Now let's, like yin and yang, I want to go to the other side now and just sit in peace, sit in a place of tranquility and be calm and just clear my mind. That is very, very important in martial arts. And just on the martial arts aspect and the spiritual aspect, people say, oh, patterns, katas, they don't work. They're not meant to work as a fight. But what a pattern or a kata is, done correctly with the correct mindset, it's without thought. It's the martial artist's meditation. So you go through your moves, you're breathing, your body's moving, it's all moving, and it's happening in unison. But you're not thinking about dinner, you're not thinking about stress, you're not thinking about work. It's zen, it's no mind. It's just complete focus on moving and breathing. To me, that is the hidden true meaning of kata, of patterns, of forms. You're not going to fight like that. So every, you know, keyboard warrior wants to say, oh, patterns are useless, patterns are... No. How's that going to help you in a fight? It's not meant to help you in a fight. It's meant to move a little bit to the spiritual side of martial arts and empty the thought and just clear. Like we can box, we can kickbox, we can do Muay Thai, we can do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, we can do MMA, we spar, we do all that hard stuff. I've got two boys, 23 and 27, and Nick, one of my other students, who's been here since he was 9 years old. So I'm training with they're my training partners. We train on a regular basis. They're all in their 20s. So I'm, always trying to lead the way and, set pace. But professional fighters, professional grapplers, but they still practice kata and patterns. Why? Because they understand how important that is for the mind and how important that is the spiritual, for us in our school, that is the spiritual side of martial arts. Do we sit and, meditate sometimes? Absolutely, in stillness. But we can go deeper in that aspect when we're still after kata or after patterns. So for us, it serves a purpose, For fighting, absolutely not. What are you going to do? Pull a pattern off when you're trying to defend yourself in the ring or in a self-defense situation? That's not what it's for. And that is the scourge on traditional martial arts, because you've got these, and I'm going to say it, moronic instructors who try and teach traditional training, patterns, katas as actual combat. And they delude their students into thinking that they can fight people with low section block, double punch. It's not going to work like that. Any rugby linebacker is just going to throw a punch and knock them out. But that's a whole other issue in the martial arts with just instructors who shouldn't be teaching, or who should tell the truth.
Yeah.
That kata and patterns are not a form of combat. Maybe there's hidden meanings of combat within it, but it should be used as a meditation and for technical and traditional honouring of technique of martial arts. But let's not sugarcoat it and try and say that it's actual combat.
You mentioned God and that you believe in God.
Yes, strongly.
And for me, the biggest things that got me through this period is fitness, faith, and family.
Yeah.
And faith has been not something that I grew up with. It's something that I've, seeked through this period of my life. For you, what is your relationship like with God? You said you're not religious, but I feel like I'm very much the same. I'm spiritual, and for me, my connection with God is through building a connection with myself.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we're not religious, but we do have religion in my life. I went to a Christian school, and I remember we were in the toilets once, and we were kids. I think I was 10 or 11, and we were throwing wet toilet paper at the walls. And me and the two other boys all got taken up to the office, and one of them got caned. Whack! He started crying. Next one, whack! He started crying. He hit me, and he looked at me, and I didn't cry. So he turned me again. He hit me again. I didn't cry. He got mad, and the third one, whack! He hit me again. But I was adamant I wasn't going to cry, because I knew what he was doing. So things like that. I mean, I have, personally, I don't agree with smacking children. I have never smacked my children, any of them. I never will. I think just me raising my voice is enough.
Yep.
But I don't believe a child should be hit. I think there are other ways, and I think a man, if he sets a precedence in the beginning with his wife or his partner or his girlfriend, or even if he's by himself, even if it's a single parent, woman or man, you just set the precedent with behaviour, and don't let them get away with things. And then if you need to crack the whip, it's done with the voice. So look, with religion, there's a lot of beautiful people. There was, when my mum passed of cancer, there was some lovely people from the church that I'm eternally grateful for. It's a local church in St. Clair, and they would come to see her, And, there were all these other people that, pretended to be in her life, and when she got sick, they were nowhere to be seen because they couldn't get anything from her anymore. But the ladies from the church, and God bless them, I remember them because they came to see her. They came to the funeral. And I think in that instance, although I did say sometimes religious people can attract, people that are not the greatest, like the guy who kept caning me. But I think that lady that was there when my mum was at her worst and, in her last weeks, what a beautiful human being, and she was at church and she would pick my mum up because my mum was old, and she'd drop her home. But by this, and by the same token, I said that church had some beautiful people there.
Yeah.
Beautiful people there that I'm grateful my mum was able to spend a lot of her last years around those people. So,
God bless her soul.
yeah, thank you, brother.
Was that recent or?
Mum died a few years ago now. My stepdad, he's my dad, but he's not my biological father. He died this year.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
To hear.
But he was with me since I don't remember before him. You know what I mean? But that's the thing about parents, and time, and it really puts things into perspective, mate. Time goes and you lose everyone. I don't have anyone anymore. My sister's gone, my mum's gone, my dad's gone. So I'm sure we all remember, like, you grow up as a kid, you know, your mum's there, your dad's there, your sister's there, you move the table. I'm a bit older than you, Nick, and you're dancing to video hits and whatnot and the thing. And I still remember my sister doing pirouettes in her pink dress and that time, and my mum cooking these little lokmadis things in oil, and, dad out the backyard lighting the coal for a barbecue. And that's your family, and it's there, and it's like you're safe. This is your world. Now they're all gone. And it's like, all right, I've got my children, I've got my wife, but that family dynamic, they're all gone. And I'm like, God, I miss them. Yeah. I miss them, mate, And look, I know I'll see him again. I will. But not for a long time, but I will see him again. And I believe everyone, each of us, Josh, you, if God's the ocean, we've all got a teaspoon of that inside us. And we carry all that. And we're here for this experience in life. And we love, we lose, we experience pain, we experience heartache. And then when this journey's over, that little teaspoon, it goes home. And we go back to God, and we're all there again. And I think that is the core of my spirituality, mate. I think every single human, doesn't matter race, religion, and whether they know it or not, we all just have a teaspoon of God inside us. And then when we go home, we all go back to Him.
I love that.
Yeah.
We speak about, the legacy that you're creating, that you're passing down to your children, the lessons and everything like that. But we just spoke about your mum and your stepdad.
Yeah.
What are some of the lessons that they passed down to you?
My mum, God, I've never met a more tenacious person. Everything I am is because of that woman. Because we didn't come from anything. I had nothing. We had a little 3-bedroom house that, my stepdad worked in a factory from 5 a.m. in the morning till 8 o'clock at night. Mum used to sew pillow cases in a little shed in the backyard. And, they paid their mortgage, they got their house, but it took a lifetime. But anything I wanted to do, because I had this wild imagination, and from a very young age, I wanted to do martial arts and be like Bruce Lee. And she would always say to me, try. You try. There was nothing in this world, no matter how ridiculous or outlandish that I wanted to do or wanted to be, did she ever say, no, you can't do that. Don't be silly. She said, yeah, you try. Try. She set me up to not be afraid of failing. And look, subconsciously, we all get afraid of failing because it's like, oh shit, what will this person think? What will that person think? Oh, if I fail, everyone will know. But she put it in me that, and led me to believe that if I failed, it was okay. Just to get up and try again. So I had a good relationship with failure, actually, and that's where I learnt the most. And as an actor too, you've got to have a good relationship with failure, because you'll audition for a whole bunch of jobs and you get one every now and then, But the tenacity and the will to never quit, that came from her. Now my dad, he little athletics, soccer. He used to love it. He used to get so excited, but he gave me something like he would take me, we'd practice shot put, we'd practice discus, we'd do our sprints, we'd do our long jump. With soccer, he'd take me over to Rudy Hill and there was this big wall and he'd just make all the soccer balls, he'd lay them out and make me practice kick, kick, kick. He'd drive me I didn't have a place like this to train. I used to train in little dingy community halls with, same family of martial arts, but all different instructors under the one banner, but at different locations. He used to drive me everywhere, So he also made me the man I am today too, He wasn't as, my mum was like, you can do it, try. He was always very tentative. He's like, oh, just always worried. But luckily my mum overcompensated for that. But what he did that was so fantastic was the time he gave me. And without that time and that all that time training and everything, I would not be as good a father as I am. And I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm a good dad.
Yeah.
Okay. But without him setting that precedence for me, with all the time he gave me, training me for little athletics. And he worked a lot, but weekends, mornings, early soccers, he was there, Even if it was early morning or late at night, he'd always find the time for me to do that extra work. And now that's particularly with Ariel, my 12-year-old. I spent a lot of time with her, a lot of time. And she's an absolute, superstar in athletics. She's just started soccer at school. She's thriving in that too. Martial arts, she's unstoppable. She's an absolute monster. But that is because of the love and the time my dad gave me and showed me. This is all the time training with me. It was an example that I'm doing now. And again, back to the legacy, this is what I hope they do with their children. Yes. You know what I mean? So it carries on. Sorry, long-winded answer.
No, it's good. And I've been having these conversations a lot lately around, high-performing fathers that are in business, and we are going after our goals and we have aspirations. But also, how do we create that lifestyle and balance where we can be present for our kids? I think it's so important there because there's a lot of wealthy people in this world, that material wealth, but when it comes to their family, it's not there because they've sacrificed it for the material side of things. How have you been able to balance that, especially with the travel and everything that you've achieved, but still be there for your kids?
Yeah, look, there are times when I just finished a movie at the beginning of the year called Mexicali, or The Farmer. They keep flip-flopping with names, but I was gone for a couple of months. And thank God for Zoom, because you can jump on and see the kids. But that was hard. It was hard for me. It was hard for them. And they're also seeing me chasing my dreams, working hard and going for my goals. But coming back and balancing that, when we're back, I make sure the week is set out. I'm just really particular with my time. Like Tuesday, we're in class together here. She knows that. Then we've got open mat. I'll work with her. I'll wrestle with her, coach her through. So even though we're in class, we hit open mat, there's a chunk of time I always spend with her. Wednesday nights, she finishes school. I know, everyone knows, don't come near me from 3:30 till 4:30. That's my time with her, okay? And we work on whatever. Look, it's always sports orientated, but on the weekends, and every day is like that. There's something every day. If she needs a day off, she gets a day off, because I can see it when she gets tired. But she loves to do it. I love to do it. It's the way we bond. People say, oh, you're forcing your kid to do that. No, I'm not. Absolutely not. She loves it. So when she wants to do it, we work. We've got our routines, and we do that every week. But come the weekend, Saturday night, we're all going out to dinner. Doesn't matter what. We make time, we go out to dinner. Sunday, I'm going to say probably 90% of the time, they'll come, Dad, let's go to Hog's Breath. Dad, let's go to Twin Creeks. Dad, let's go to Outback. And you know what? We go. So generally on the weekends, we spend time. Or what we've been doing recently, we just go up to Nepean River. We go and get some frozen yogurt. We walk up. We play in the park. Okay? Come down, sit by the river. So I think the best advice, pre-plan it. Know your week. Be meticulous with the schedule. And look, it's okay to be spontaneous and just do things on the fly too. But for us, because I have such a busy lifestyle, I have to pencil everything in the week. So we know what our week is going to look like, you know? And I do my best to stick to it. I don't say, oh, you know, I've got a business call, or, you know, I've got to talk about this next movie, or I've got to teach this person. I make sure that if this is the kids' time or this is the family time, you know, I do my best to make sure I stick to it.
And with everything that you're doing as well, like, you're continuing to lead by example, and you're showing them what it takes to go out there and achieve the things that, you know, if they want to achieve big goals, all right, this is what it takes. And it's so pivotal as fathers to do that. Because I had this conversation recently around, like, our kids are going to graduate one day, and it's all good for us as parents to say, you know, the world's your oyster. You can go out and achieve anything you want. You're going to get one or two responses. The first one being, if you haven't achieved anything yourself, it's like, I don't really believe you, Dad, because you didn't go out and do it yourself. The second one is, I believe in you, Dad, because you showed up each and every day. You led by example. You know, you went through the relationship breakdown. I seen you cry. The business went up and down, but you continued to show up and achieve the things that you wanted to achieve. So I have full belief that I can go out and do the same. And as fathers, we need to be able to do that.
100%, mate. And just as I said earlier, mate, with everything you were doing, Nick, is she's watching. She's watching. And we have to lead by example. And everything we do, everything we say, the children watch. They watch, they learn, they copy, and we're planting seeds. So when we plant those seeds, that's a setup for them to be able to take on the world. And then we want them to be able to believe that they can do it. But it's foundational. It has to start from a young age, and it has to start from what they see. If they see their parents, you know, getting wasted every night, sleeping in till, you know, 12 o'clock every night, every day, sorry, and, you know, not really working out, not looking after themselves physically or mentally, you know, they're going to follow. They're going to think that that's okay. But look, it just goes back to what you're saying. You've got to lead by example. Yeah. You've got to lead by example. Look, there's nothing wrong with having a sleep in every now and then, you know, and there's nothing wrong with, you know, just chilling for a day. We do that from time to time too. But the predominant factor has to be discipline, showing what it takes to achieve things, leading by example. Your motivation is going to waver. We all know that. Yeah. Okay. Sometimes you're going to be like, oh yeah, I want to get into the gym and throw some punches. We're good to go. Sometimes I run through the door. Let's go, boys. Okay. And then other days I'm coming through the door and I'm like, oh God, I don't want to be here. Yeah. I walk in, I'm miserable, drop my bag down, and your body even shuts down because it doesn't want you to train. But they're the workouts that count.
They're the ones you feel the best after as well.
Yes.
Because you've dragged your ass to the gym to actually put in the work. They actually turn out being really good workouts, and you feel on such a high after, and you're so grateful that you actually did it.
100%. I say to my kids all the time, I say to them, success is doing the things you know you should do whether you feel like it or not. Okay? It doesn't matter if you're not motivated to train. Your discipline gets you there. And because like the mental fortitude it takes because most people, when they feel like crap, they're like, oh, F it, I don't want to go. And they just stay home. But if you can catch yourself in that moment and say, all right, kids are watching. But more importantly, I'm watching.
Yeah.
Which person do you want to be? And look, sometimes you might choose to stay home and watch Netflix, you know. But if you can, the majority of the time, tip the scales in the favor of when you feel bad, you still make the choice to go, that's going to pay dividend. That's going to pay a lot. That's going to pay off big time. Because then you're going to have a mindset that's stronger than weaker. And when I say weaking might be a bit of an abrasive term just for this example, but you know, when you feel like those crappy days, instead of choosing to take it off, if most of the time you're choosing to go ahead with training, then most of the time that's going to be your default mechanism.
Yeah. As we start to wrap up, I'm very curious. After everything you've achieved, you're such a great dad, you're leading by example. What are you most proud of?
I know I'm taking a while to answer this, but because and the answer was very clear, but I just wanted to think about how I would articulate it. I'm most proud of being a dad, but it's not that simple, because I've done a lot of stuff that I thought, oh, if I did this, I'd be so proud of myself and this and that. But everything you do, every step that you take, and when you achieve things that you are proud of, when you get there, it kind of goes full circle and you've like arrived and this is it. But the one thing about fatherhood, it's ever changing. It's ever evolving. So you can be proud of the dad you've become, but you're not going to be the same dad to a 6-year-old as you are to the same kid when they're 13. And then when they're 13, you as a father, you're going to be a different kind of dad when you're 16. And then when these little girls, they're the loves of our life, then they're going to meet another man, because we're a daughter's first love.
Yes.
And then when they meet a man, you're going to be assessing him every way. Is he good enough for my daughter? Does this man measure up? And God willing, he does. And God willing, he's there for her spiritually, emotionally. He's a protector in all ways. And she's happy. And he treats her right. And then at that stage, when she's someone else, I have to become a different dad again, where now she's got someone else and I have to take him into account, into all the decisions that affect them and myself and the interaction in the family dynamic, you know? So look, I'm proud of being a father. I'm not perfect. And I don't know how I'm going to be when she's 16. I don't know how I'm going to be as when she gets married one day and has her own family. But I'm hoping that when I get to that stage, I can be proud of the dad that I am there too. Right now, I'm pretty good, you know, because I know I'm doing good things. And I'm hoping that in the future I can continue to adapt and evolve in the ever-changing states and still be a good father and honour the children and honour their families as they grow up too. But, you know, it's hard to really predict what you're going to be like in the future, isn't it? But yes. I'm hoping I measure up, mate.
Bren, thank you so much, man. It's been a pleasure for you to let us in your gym and to record this and have this conversation. Because as I said, a lot of people see the martial arts side of you, but to actually have this conversation and get to know you on a deeper level, I really appreciate you coming in here with an open mind and an open heart to be able to share what you shared today.
Thanks, mate.